Well, hi again, everybody. My name is Greg Anderson, and this is the Good Timekeeping Show with Greg Anderson. I had a request recently. Somebody wanted me to do a state of the collection video and show off all my watches in my entire collection. I thought, well, okay, I'll do that. There are some watches that I have never shown you yet on YouTube, so, well, let's just go for it. Okay, to start with, this is actually a new acquisition, but it's the oldest watch in my collection right now, and I'll tell you the whole story in another video of why this watch is significant to me. This is a Timex Mercury watch from about 1974 or so. Next up, here's a diver style watch. This is the exact watch that I actually wore to school about 5th and 6th grade in the 1970s. And I had the original band replaced with this fashionable leather strap. I think my friend Steve had something like this, so I decided I wanted a watch band like that myself. There's a story of why this watch is significant to me. This is a National Semiconductor LCD digital watch from around 1977 or so. You could find this in the Sears catalog. I'll tell you the story of why this watch is significant in another video that's coming soon. Now, this is a watch that I originally saw at a shop in Hong Kong back in 1983. It was the beginning of my trip to Asia, and so I decided not to spend a lot of money on souvenirs in Hong Kong, but my brother was there for a while, so he picked this up for me and got this back to me in the States a few months later. Then I went to South America a couple of years after that, and I had this watch down there with me, and it was a great watch. I enjoyed it, but there came a time when I wanted a watch with a countdown timer, and also I needed to get the battery changed on this watch. I took this to a jeweler in Cochabamba, Bolivia, and he was able to change the watch battery for me. But then I noticed in his display case there was also this Casio watch, and this had a countdown timer on it. So I decided, I went back a few days later and paid about $20 to get this, my very first Casio watch, purchased in Bolivia, and that was again either October or November of 1985. Well, it was a few years later that I finally got this one. This was from about 1989. I like this one because it has a little sensor there that'll actually show you your pulse rate. And it also has some special timers and pacing features in here to help you with jogging and other fitness things. The next year, I saw this one and I decided I really wanted this watch. Again, it's another Casio. I really like quartz accuracy, and even in an analog watch, this was attractive to me that the analog hands are projected by LCD. So I thought I'd get super accuracy there with the combination of LCD with the analog style. About a year or two later, I got this one, and so this is a true analog watch with the hour and minute hand there. But check this out. It has an LCD overlay on the top of that, so I can show the month and the day, or I can have the time there, and then I can again have it off. Also, this one had the ability to store names and phone numbers back in the day when you might not have a phone in your pocket to store that information, so you could save up to 50 names and phone numbers in there. Had a nice world time feature with a map that would project over the top of that analog display, and you could choose a time zone. So this was a fun watch that I enjoyed in the day, and it still works. Going ahead to about 1994 or so, I decided I wanted this one, and even though this has all the same basic features as my first Casio, I didn't really need another digital watch like this. The nice thing about this one, it had an improved backlight, and so I decided to go ahead and buy this one, again vintage early 90s, and it still works. But of course, it was in the mid-90s that I got really interested in these radio-controlled clocks, atomic clocks, built-in radio receivers to set themselves to the right time, right down to the second. And I was hoping to find an affordable watch that could do it. I finally found this one, Archron Sight. And so I never thought this was a very good-looking watch, but at the time, $99 was a pretty good deal on a watch that could do everything this one does. So it's got that built-in time sync feature, where it receives its radio-controlled time information from the atomic clock at WWVB. And so it's got an alarm and a stopwatch and a few nice things on it. Again, not a great-looking watch. It's lightweight and feels kind of cheap, but it does the job, and as you can see, still working today. Then I also found this one from Lacrosse Technology. This is also radio controlled, so it sets itself to the right time, right down to the second, but that's all this does. It doesn't have a light, it doesn't have an alarm, it doesn't beep, it doesn't have a stopwatch, it just shows you the time in any of the time zones you've chosen for the United States. And so between these two watches, I was covered for, radio-controlled atomic timekeeping, but I was frustrated about these because I thought I never really heard of Archron Sight or Lacrosse Technology as great watchmaking companies, and I was hoping that a more established manufacturer like Citizen or Seiko or Casio would come up with a watch that was somewhat affordable that could also set itself using atomic timekeeping. And so then this one came along. And so Casio Wave Ceptor, the first one I ever saw. This again was fairly affordable for the time. I don't know, I think it was below $100. I can't remember exactly what. And the interesting thing about this Casio watch is that it's got the same buttons, same features, it does exactly the same things as this watch over here. It's almost as if Casio really didn't develop this. All they did was take the electronics of this watch and put a new display on it and make it look a little nicer, and that's what this turned out to be. Exactly the same functions and features with a different display. So overall, a more sturdy watch, better looking. So I really like this one. This was my go-to watch for a long time. And so I got this one right around 2001. And then it was a few years before I bought another watch. So I saw this watch in 2006 at a Kmart store, normally $100, but they had it on a Father's Day special. And even though I wasn't married and was not yet a father, I took advantage of this special 25% off, and I bought this watch, this then being my first G-Shock watch. And this was also my first watch I got that was solar powered and also radio controlled. So this turned out to be, kind of a nice, tough, big, substantial watch that I really enjoyed. And then I didn't buy another watch until about 6 years after that. So this went from about 2006. And so about 2012, by then I was married and we had a little one on the way. So just before our first child was born, I decided I liked, the tough solar and the atomic timekeeping. And I thought, maybe I could get that in an analog style. So, of course, Casio had that, just what I wanted. And this was my next watch in 2012, a Wave Ceptor analog with solar power. And then once again, things got quiet for a while until early 2018. There was a Sears store going out of business, and I thought I'd go check it out and see what there might be on clearance at this Sears store. I don't know, Craftsman tools or Toughskin jeans or who knew what might be there. Well, I looked in the watch case, and there was this one, Wave Ceptor from Casio. Nice looking watch, simple, lightweight, just a very, very basic kind of budget-friendly Wave Ceptor watch. And it was on clearance, so it was probably, somewhere around $20, $25 for this. And I thought that was pretty good deal. So I picked this one up from that Sears that was going out of business. And then this really got the ball rolling. I looked at this, and I liked the features on it. And I thought, Casio's been making a lot of watches while I wasn't paying close attention. I wonder what other ones they might have that would be of interest to me with the functions and features and the styles that I might like. So I started off kind of, budget friendly. And first thing I saw was, there was a kind of a metal version of the same watch, with a metal bracelet and a little more metal looking on the case. So now I had these two. And hey, wait a second, here's another one that does all the same things with a slightly different style on the face there. I didn't realize at the time this had multiband 5, which meant it received atomic time information from more than one source. So that was pretty good. Oh, but as long as I was looking at that, for a few dollars more, this one doesn't have multiband 5, but it's the same basic style. The readout there does the same things except for, the multiband 5. So I got this one. And it's a 200-meter water resistant, almost like a G-Shock type specifications for a little bit better price. And it's, radio controlled. Oh, and you know what? They've got a version of this one with a metal watch bracelet, just a little more metal on it. So all of a sudden I had these 5 new Wave Ceptors that were serving me pretty well. But then I had to keep looking. And the question became, hey, do they make a G-Shock that is analog and also radio controlled? And so, yeah, I found this one. Now, there were a lot of styles available, and I thought about a lot of different ones. The most common version of this was this one that I kept seeing on the American market. And I didn't really like the color combination here, so I didn't get this one first. I found this one, paid a little bit more, but I got this one, and I really like the style of this one here. And then I found a deal on a used one that was in really great shape, and now I can't even tell the difference between, which one of these was the brand new one, which one may have been a little bit gently used before I got it. But I decided to go get, a spare watch. Eventually, I decided to take a chance on this one, and I thought that it looked better in person than it did in the illustrations. So this was used, and I got a deal on it. But then I also found a good deal on this one used. So all the same functions and features, just different colors. So then I found this one, and then they were selling this one at Sam's Club, and I decided I liked that one. Then I decided to get fancy, and I saw this one cost a little bit more. Even though they're all made of the same materials, just different colors, I found that you pay more for the more attractive colors. This one cost the most out of this style, I think. And so I got that one there. This one I found a really good deal on this guy, and such a good deal that I started to wonder if it wasn't, some sort of forgery, some sort of counterfeit watch. So I bought this one for a great price, brought it home, took a good look at it next to my other watches of the same style, and it turned out that it looked legitimate and it worked just great. So as long as it was still a good deal, the guy selling it had another one, so now I have a duplicate of that one as well. And finally, I found two more color combinations. Some interesting idea here with the two-tone watch band, and also this one had a two-tone watch band. There are other versions of this watch, other color combinations out there, usually in the overseas market, Japan and other places in Asia. So yeah, you'll pay more to get those. So I still have a couple that I'm looking out for, but I haven't purchased them yet because, we're talking like twice the price to get some of those wild colors. So who knows? If I get another one of this style of watch, I will go ahead and I'll make a video about it. But for now, here are the 12 that I have all together in one family portrait. Okay, so you remember this one that I got in 2006. Well, they did a slightly updated version of it, and so I had to find one of those. Subtle differences, but it's new, it's not so banged up, and it has some extra features. And then I found one that at a good price, so I had to get a duplicate of this one as well. Couldn't pass up a deal. And then also they have there's a version of it that's black with a reverse LCD display, and I got a half price deal on this one, so I decided I had to have all of those to have a proper collection of this style of watch in honor of my very first G-Shock. And then borrowing from that basic style, they had this one with kind of a resin watch band and just a slightly different look on the face. This is one that I saw, again, in the illustrations. I thought this wasn't the greatest looking watch. There were some other color combinations that were more attractive to me. But I saw this half price clearance in a display case at Walmart, and I couldn't let it just sit there looking sad. So I picked this one up and decided when I had it in person, it actually looked a lot nicer in real life than I thought it looked in the illustrations. Well, then I started to look at the other color combinations. So here's this one. And then I found this guy here with a slightly different color combination. And then I got a deal on a used one that looked like it was brand new. So now I have a duplicate of that guy there. And then I found, well, how about the orange one? That looks pretty good. And then I found a deal on a duplicate of that for a good price, so I couldn't pass up on that one. Next, how about this one? This actually has a different model number, but it looks the same, just different color, and it has all the same functions and features. So I got that one, and then of course there was a deal on a duplicate of that one. And then I got this one, which you can find these at Walmart now. And I was intrigued by the color. It almost looks like a sports car paint job on the bezel there. So now I have all of those. And there's my family portrait of these, radio-controlled solar-powered G-Shock watches. But what about the classic G-Shock square design? Actually, I looked around and this was the more common version as far as colors go in the American market. I didn't really like the red stripe on the illustrations that I saw, but it had all the great features: tough solar, multiband 6 for atomic timekeeping built in, and well, I decided to go ahead and buy this, and if I liked it a lot, I'd get some of the other color combinations, and if I didn't like it, I'd just leave it here as is. But the nice thing about this, with the way this looks exactly, it's made to look like the very first G-Shock that went on the market in 1983. That's why it has all those colors on it. And again, I thought in person it looked better than it did in the illustration. So then I liked it. So then I found this one with kind of the blue on it, and I found this one with kind of the orange on it. I had to go to the overseas market, and through eBay I was able to find some of these that weren't necessarily as readily available in the American market. This one was kind of nice. Reverse LCD to me is a little bit harder to see, but I liked that it had this combi bracelet instead of a traditional watch band, so I tried this one out. Also, they had one where they made the watch band and some of the materials out of carbon fiber, and I thought this was a good looking watch, so I like that. Didn't have the red stripe. And then, you know, if you really want to get fancy with these, the next step is to get this one that's fully assembled in Japan. Some of the pieces that are underneath this black part are made of more metal material, solid metal, whereas some of these others, you know, may got more resin and some other materials. But if you want solid metal, it has the screw down back, you know, kind of the deluxe in this particular style of G-Shock with these features. So I had to get one of those. Now, then there was another version of it. This is the same module, same functions and features, except that this comes in a kind of a bigger case. So I decided I had to get this one as well. Now, then you start seeing that they have introduced some more features. This is, you know, all the basic same look as this G-Shock here, but this one here on the right has added Bluetooth. So not only does it have you know, the tough solar for solar power and multiband 6 for atomic timekeeping, you can also use Bluetooth to synchronize this to a server from Casio to set the time through Bluetooth. This is great if you're in parts of the world where multiband 6 is out of range. You can use Bluetooth to set this to the exact correct time, and also use the app on your phone or your tablet to set some of the things like, you know, alarms and other functions. This one here had a composite bracelet instead of a watch band, and I really like this one, so much so that I had to get a different color version of it. It does all the same things, but with a different color. And so those are all my G-Shock squares now. And look at how nicely they all synchronize there. So there are some other colors out there and some other features and finishes, and some of them become very expensive. So who knows? But for now, with my budget, this may be all I have for the moment. If you want to talk about classic styles of G-Shock watches, you can't forget about this one, the DW6900. But this is a slightly updated version. This has tough solar and multiband 6 built in for atomic timekeeping. This is the GW6900. I had to add this to my collection. I wondered about this one because so much of the face is taken up by these dials here instead of the readout of the time, but I like it okay, and I wear it, and it does have that classic G-Shock style. Now here's another one which has a different readout, but all the same functions on this guy here, the GW2310. So I had to add that to my collection. These are rather affordable as G-Shock watches go. If you want to get these too, you can find some good deals on these in the US market. There are some other color combinations out there on this one. Not as many here. You can find lots of combinations of colors on this, the non-atomic version. But I'll stick with these for the moment. All right, you remember this solar-powered Wave Ceptor from 2012, right? Well, I found out they have an updated version of this with just a few more functions, including multiband 6, and so I got this one. This is available on the US market. A very similar look, very similar price, and so not a bad thing to add to my collection. But I found out that if I looked at the Japanese market, there were some other color combinations that use the same module, so they have the same functions as this guy here. They just look a little bit different. So I started out with, how about this one? hey, there's a pretty watch. Does all the same things, but I got this from someone in Japan that sold it to me. And how about the same thing with a titanium bracelet and some other titanium pieces on the watch too. So, okay, I got that one. But you know what? How about I get a titanium one with different colors and the darker face? Okay, so that's not bad there. Then I can get one that's just kind of your standard stainless steel, just a nice blue, very simple look there. So I decided to get them all again from the Japanese market. Oh, and how about this one here with kind of the green face and that sort of canvas watch band. Nice bargain on this one. And then you can get a different color, same thing with a different color. So I found that, again, going to the Japanese market for these guys. How about this one with sort of the Roman numeral look and a dark face? Not bad. And then, okay, there's a lighter face version of that one with Roman numerals. I couldn't resist that one. And then this one, such a strange color that I couldn't figure out what exactly it looked like. I thought, well, I'm going to have to buy that in order to figure out what color it is. So now I have a whole bunch of these Wave Ceptors to go with that original one that I got in 2012. And I got to tell you, there are some other color combinations out there, especially if you look to the lineage line of Casio watches. You're talking about sapphire glass for crystals and more titanium and more styles. It's all the same modules, same features. So this may not be the end of my collection for this particular style of watches. But if I get another one, I will certainly make a video about it. Is it possible they could make a watch that's not solar powered and doesn't have atomic timekeeping built in, and it would still be interesting to me? Well, of course. Here's a nice one. People like to call this the Casio Royale. Has that nice metal look, and in some ways resembles a watch that James Bond wore in 1983 in the movie Octopussy, but it's not exactly the same. But people love to call this the Casio Royale because it sounds like, Casino Royale, James Bond title. And so you can get this Casio Royale for, pretty good price, probably, $25 or less, and then even lower if you get the all resin version of it. So I had to have those two. And then, wouldn't you know, there's another version of it where the module is, kind of more round, but it has all the same functions and features, just in a slightly different layout. And I saw this on clearance at Walmart. I had to rescue it from just looking there sad at a clearance price at Walmart, and they had others as well to go with it. So here's a slightly different color combination on the same deal. And here's another one, slightly different color combination. These, again, not atomic timekeeping, but I found that they're actually very, very accurate. And again, not solar powered, but 10-year battery life. Hey, this looks like a pretty good deal, and you can find these very affordable, nice watches. This one here is pretty affordable. It has atomic timekeeping and multiband 6, and for some reason it was a very low price that I saw on Amazon for this guy. And I picked it up, and it's kind of built like a tank, has that nice rugged look to it, but I like it. Shows you the moon phase and the tide, and has all the other functions you would like from a G-Shock watch. Then I couldn't help but notice this one over here. This was at Sam's Club. Again, another G-Shock. The readout is the same. The buttons work a little bit differently, but I would say it's the same watch, just a slightly updated module. Same deal. Maybe to some this is a little bit nicer looking, but I got the pair of them and I like them. Next up, how about this guy? I got a pretty good deal on this one, and this is a ProTrek watch with Casio's triple sensor. So it has a compass, barometer, and a thermometer, and uses the barometer to also give you the altitude. So all of those readouts available from Casio's triple sensor. Then this one has a titanium bracelet and some other titanium stuff on it. So a nice, big, substantial watch with a great digital readout with all kinds of stuff on there, all your data for you outdoors people, ProTrek watch. And then I decided I was interested in kind of an analog version of that one. So this one has also the triple sensor and, analog. So if you're looking for the altitude, your barometer and your thermometer, it would appear down here, and then you still have the analog time there. There's also a version of this. It's a different module, but basically does the same thing with a different look. And this has a lot of titanium on it. So this is yet another version of the ProTrek watch with the triple sensor. And then, you know what? If you want to get the triple sensor in a G-Shock model, here you go. It's fully digital. And then this button here allows you to access, the compass and the barometer, thermometer, all that on here. So that's not a bad watch to have, and it's nice and thick and strong. And if you're looking for something a little more budget friendly that also has a triple sensor, well, you can't really beat this one. It's not a G-Shock, so you might say, well, it's not as tough as these others. It's got a lot of plastic resin pieces, not so much titanium and stuff like that. But this does have the triple sensor and sunrise and sunset times and a whole lot of great features on this guy. And I got this at a clearance price at Walmart. I think I paid $25 for it. You might expect to pay a little bit more than that if you don't get so lucky as to get the low deal that I got. But again, for you outdoors people, if you want a very affordable triple sensor watch, Casio has you covered on that too. When I got familiar with the Bluetooth app for those G-Shock squares that I got, I noticed that this is one of the other watches that uses that app to connect to your watch. So this one has solar power. It does not have the multiband 6 atomic timekeeping built into it. So the only way that it will synchronize with the atomic clock is through the Bluetooth app, but that's pretty easy. And every time you connect in order to change some setting on here, it'll update itself, and it keeps really good time. So I've enjoyed this watch. It also has some special alarms on it and some other features that would appeal to aviators. So here's your Gravity Master watch that I've really enjoyed too. My mother saw this watch and decided I might really enjoy it. It's a talking atomic time watch. So it does have the built-in receiver to pick up the time from WWVB and set itself to the right time. And then it will talk and say the time when you press buttons. It also has a talking alarm, and it can announce the time every hour on the hour. So great watch for those that have some visual impairment. And again, all you have to do is push a button. And it'll just tell you the time. Wow, a watch that literally tells the time. Just when I thought I was running out of ideas and I might not be buying new watches for a while, I walk into a Walmart and I see this in the clearance case. And so this is the Super Illuminator. It's got a button up there for a backlight. Great diver style watch with a metal case, a nice resin watch band, and the day and date window there, the 3 o'clock position, 100-meter water resistant with a rotating bezel. And so I couldn't resist this one. And then I thought, well, I guess Casio has other diver style watches. So the next one I saw, and actually got a good clearance price on this one, the ever popular Casio Duro, a 200-meter water resistant, and it has the date window right there. And, nice metal case. And then, they've got a different color version of this one. So I had to go for this one. This was not on sale, very popular color. And then I took this one and I replaced the watch band with a metal bracelet that was available on previous models of the Casio Duro. So all of a sudden I had those. And I thought, well, could I get a solar powered one? And indeed they had diver style watch solar powered. This does not have a rotating bezel, but if I need a rotating bezel, I'll go ahead and use one of my other watches. I also put an old Casio Duro style watch bracelet on this guy, and I'm enjoying that one. I thought to myself, could they make a solar powered Casio Duro? And so proof of concept, I found this one, and this is a diver style watch with the date window there. Nice analog watch, 100-meter water resistant, and it is solar powered, but for some reason this is in a lightweight plastic resin case with a bi-directional bezel. And I'll do a full review on this one coming soon, but I just thought to myself, if they wanted to make a solar-powered Duro, they could do it. This proves they could. We'll see what happens. Then I decided, well, maybe I could look at some inexpensive versions that Casio puts out. So this one, look at how big that one is. But this is an all-resin, diver-style, 100-meter water-resistant watch with a day and date window, bi-directional bezel. And I'll do a full review on this one pretty soon, but it's big. See how much bigger it is than that one? Look how big that is on my normal size wrist. Oh, but you know what? They've got different color combinations. Here's just one of them. So you get the white face version, and again, this is a big watch. They also have a smaller version of that same idea. This one is almost like, this one is a little bit bigger than average, and this is a little bit smaller than average. They need one that's kind of right in between to make Goldilocks happy. But you've got big and small. And then on this small one, there are a lot of different color combinations available out there. This is just one of them. And this is another one. I've got some daughters, and so I'm not sure. This is not going to be my watch, but I'm not sure whose watch it's going to be. We'll see. So I don't really count this as in my collection. maybe I should. Anyway, for the moment, it's still wrapped up nice, so it could become a gift at any moment. While I was looking for bargains at Walmart, I found this one, and again, this is kind of on the smaller size, a little bit smaller even than that one, but a nice, outdoorsy watch with a Velcro watch band, so nice there. And in addition to, the regular analog with the date window there, it's got a light that you press the button right there. It's got a nice little light that shines up from the 6. And so this one, I could not resist. It's normally about $20, so very affordable. But when I saw it sitting in the case, they actually only wanted $5 for it. So I said, oh, I'm just going to buy that. I got to have that for $5. And then they had this one, which is a slightly different color, but the same thing. And this one also, when I had them scan for the price, was $5. So I had to get this one as well. Nice, simple, just nice little watches and extremely affordable. And finally, how about this guy? You might be saying, what? Did Greg finally get a smartwatch like an Apple Watch? Actually, no, this is for illustration purposes. Look at that. It's that 1970s style digital LED watch, but this is not a 1970s watch, but it gives you that style. And I'm going to use this and talk more about it in another video, but I just could not resist. This is cheap. I don't even know how long it's going to last. Some of the reviews that I've read online, people said, oh, it's terrible. It doesn't last very well. Touchscreen anyway. But this is the idea of, again, the first LED digital watches on the market were kind of like this. So that's it for now, but of course there are some follow-up videos that will be in the works soon. So I hope you'll stay tuned for another episode of The Good Timekeeping Show.